Well, it seems that no place is too remote to escape the paparazzi these days for A-listers duo Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. A scuffle breaks out between a photographer. Take a look at that. That was all over YouTube today. Speaking of YouTube, that's the couple's bodyguard that you see. He allegedly, allegedly, while we're watching it, grabbed the man by his throat. The two are on location right now in India. They're shooting a movie that's called A Mighty Heart. It's a film about slain U.S. journalist Daniel Pearl. Jolie will play Pearl's wife, Marianne, who wrote the book. She says, Jolie says, this is not a film about terrorism or conflict. It is a story of people of all faiths working together to find the truth. So let's see if our A-list panel agrees with that. Welcome back, everybody. Cody, what do you think, when you hear about that? We all remember that brutal murder of Daniel Pearl, and I just remember hanging on day after day after day and watching the wires and praying that he was going to be set free. He was brutally murdered by terrorists.
I hope that what she's trying to say there is that she's trying to shine a light on this evil, right? And it's certainly better for Hollywood and Angelina to be making movies that have some sort of an impact on society that deals with issues that are important, rather than just doing another Tomb Raider. That's a good thing for us all too. It's just a shame that it actually takes an ex-drug addict like Angelina going to India to even get us to start focusing on this type of a discussion.
But my concern is that it gets whitewashed a little bit. Let's take a look at another full-screen quote, and this one comes directly from Marianne Pearl, and she was asked what she thought about the murder of her husband and why it happened. She said, I see it like an alarm for everybody. It means that if people in the world do not realize that they are not immune against this anymore, then nothing will. We will never fight this war. This is a vast, international, dangerous network of people. Natasha, what do you think about that?
It's when I think about this, the guy was murdered. He was beheaded. It was terrorist. It was a part of this, everything that we're going through. And they want to say, I guess if you had your husband murdered so brutally, you would want at least something good to come out of it if you made a movie, and if you believe that the war is bad, that you want the movie's message to be, let's all come together, there should be peace. But when you think about the story that they're talking about in the movie, it's not about love and people holding hands. It's about brutality and murder.
I think it's even offensive. And I mean, lovely for Angelina that she's doing this movie, and lucky Marianne Pearl that Angelina Jolie is playing her. But to say this is a movie about people working together and faiths working together to try to understand, no, it's a horrific story of a man filled with integrity doing his job as a reporter who was brutally decapitated by evil people. End of discussion. It's not about trying to understand them. It's not about trying to get inside their heads. Why should we build a bridge of understanding?
Yeah, there is this temptation, as Condoleezza Rice was saying last week, I think, we're not to blame for terrorists attacking us.
No.
And there is that underlying message in this. And I understand, I think, what she wanted to say in the book, and maybe what the movie wants to say too, that we need to understand, cultures better. But all that aside, it's not Danny Pearl's fault that these people attacked him and that they took his life, Bob.
No, it's not. It's not anybody's fault. It's not the people in the Trade Center. It's not any of the Americans who fight in the war. This is the kind of thing that is unfortunately, taking over our world. And it's not just in the Middle East. It's really expanding. And, one of the things that I worry about all the time is another attack on our own soil at home, and how terrorists is really becoming, terrorism in general, is becoming more part of this flat society that we live in.
And I also go back to the fact that we have been safe in this country from that kind of terrorism, at least over the last 5 years. And I think that time gap allows people to start to feel a little bit more comfortable, to start to feel, that we need to understand. And we do need to understand other cultures, but you don't need to understand somebody who wants to attack you.
But we don't need to
simple.
understand evil. We don't need to accept evil. We don't need to try to analyze
But we do need to shine a light, and that's what this movie does. It gets us on here talking about this. I mean, why don't we let's send Lindsay Lohan to Darfur. Let's get these places out here. We'll take care of two problems, right? We get rid of problems in Hollywood. We actually help shine a light on evils around the world.
Let's talk a little bit about that moment that we saw in the video too, because
Right.
The bodyguard practically strangled that guy. What do you think about that, Bob?
You can't imagine. That's the worst thing that can happen. I mean, obviously he's got to be let go. He had a violent moment there. And a camera is not a weapon. These things happen. Princess Diana, time and time again, you hear all these problems with cameras. Let the paparazzi do their thing. If they're not interfering with your life, with your path, and you're in that business and you're in the public, you've got to let it go.
And by the way, Angelina and Brad courted publicity. They are movie stars.
Absolutely.
That is part and parcel of being a movie star.
But you could have a little little bit of privacy. If you're alone with your child in a private moment, you should be permitted.
But this guy said, you know, he said, I didn't go in the hotel. I'm standing outside the hotel. They're coming back. I'm trying to get a shot of them. I'm doing my job, coming in and out. And they do, you know, they love the publicity when it's for the causes that they want to promote, but they don't want it, you know, from some guy who may not be getting paid the right amount of money.
This guy went too far. He definitely committed a criminal act. I think if this happened on U.S. soil, he probably would have been arrested for assault. But I think that even if you're in the public eye, even if you have your causes, they could step back a little and let you have a private moment with your family. Which is you lock yourself in your house with your kids.
I think it's what you sign up for.
When you're outside of the hotel,
you gotta go.
It's free game.
Paige, thank you very much. Good to have you here. Bob Strang, Natasha Lapiner Giresi, and also Cody, good to have you with us. And you're going to hire that guy. You're going to tell us how he works out for you, okay? Thanks, everybody.